What's up? Welcome back. My name is Stasia. I'm an astrologer, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you all how to cast your chart and how to read it, not interpret it. I'm not going to be doing like chart interpretation, chart reading stuff, but I do want to like just point out the main things that you're looking at here. I'm going to hop on to a Zoom meeting so you guys can see my screen and I can share that with you and I can really make sure that it's really visual. If you have any questions after this, please leave them in the description. Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to my channel and to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Deja the Jovian. Okay, let's do it. Oh my god, that was so wild. Zoom just said to me, this meeting is being recorded, and it really freaked me out. Okay, so let's dive into things. I'm going to share my screen with you all. I have astro.com already pulled up. I always recommend astro.com or astroseek to people just because I know that their charts are accurate. Like, actually just saw a tweet today. Somebody was like, Catholic astrology has really good interpretations, but their charts are not it. And they are very right. Like, their interpretations are great for beginners, but their chart casts are terrible. They're like off. They're so off. Same thing with CoStar. We're not using CoStar. Anyway, so I'm not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that in another video. So I have astro.com pulled up. Astro.com, Now I logged out. I would totally recommend like making your own account and stuff like that, but I logged out so you guys can see what we're dealing with here right now. So you're going to come over to free, am I clicked on it? Yeah. You're going to come over to free horoscope. And you're going to go all the way down over here to drawings and calculations. And you're going to, this one, extended chart selection. You're going to click on that. And I would click here to log in, or actually no, I would click down here. You're going to click here to go to the data entry page, hit accept, and you're going to enter your info. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to say like, this person's name is Jen. And I hate this. So we're just going to say other. You'd never offer an interpretation otherwise. They always say this. I never listen to that. Okay, let's say their birthday is January 23, 1998. And they were born at 11:45. Oh no, this person's gonna have Aries rising probably. Okay, let's say they were born at 4:45 p.m. and they were born in the United States, and they were born in New Orleans. I don't know. It's the first thing that came to my brain. Okay, so you're gonna hit continue, and it's gonna bring you to this page. Now, this is where you're able to add like a lot of different really cool stuff. You can come down here and add the asteroids over here. Let's see if I can draw like yeah, you can add the asteroids and stuff like that all over here. And if we go back up, okay, exit out, we go back up. We're gonna go to this little section that actually, let me change this. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go to this section right here, and we're gonna go to, all of this is right, but down here where it says options for zodiac and houses, it says default. The default's gonna be Placidus. I recommend whole sign houses for beginners. So you're gonna click on the house system, and you're gonna scroll down to where it says whole signs, and then you're gonna click on that. And you're gonna click to cast chart, whatever. Okay, so here we go. Here's the chart. I really think whole sign house system is super, oh wow, that's funny. I really think whole sign houses is like super easy and straightforward for beginners. So I think that you should totally start with that because it'll make everything a little bit more like intuitive. So in whole sign house system, you have your ascendant right here. AC is marked by a degree. So the ascendant is the point that was rising or culminating over the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. So this over here is your AC. This person has Cancer, right? This is the glyph Cancer. This person has Cancer rising at about 25 degrees in 8 minutes. So we know that this person has Cancer as their first house, their first whole sign house. Cancer will take up all 30 degrees of the first house. Then going in zodiacal order, next is Leo, and Leo is the second house, the second whole sign house. And then third is Virgo, the fourth, and this is the north node. And so then with that, we know that the south node is on the opposite end because they're in a pair. Sometimes they only show you the north node because they think you're smart, which you are, and they think that, like, go look at the other end and that's where the other node is going to be. But just to point it out, this person would have the north node at 11 degrees of Virgo and the south node at 11 degrees of Pisces in their third, ninth house axis. So you see this number right here. This is 3. Can I zoom in? Yeah. So these numbers in here are the houses. So this is the first, house 1, the first house. This is the second house. This is the third. This is the fourth, fifth, sixth, and it goes all the way around. And you have all 12 houses in your birth chart. And you have all 12 signs in your birth chart. So if you look around this wheel right here, you have Cancer. Oh, that was bad. How can I undo? Undo. Cool. Okay. You have Cancer, you have Leo, you have Virgo, and you, all of them. I wish this would go away. You have a lot of them. You have Sag, Cap, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. It goes all the way around, and you're going to have like each of these energies manifesting in your life in some capacity. So each of these little pie slices, these black little sections that I'm talking about being the houses, they represent different areas of your life. So they're kind of like the scenes of what's going on here. The first house is the house of you and self and like your immediate interface with the world. Any transits through this first house. So anytime that anything is in Cancer for this person, for this birth chart, that's going to impact their body and themselves. Maybe Mars is going through the first house and you cut yourself, or maybe Jupiter is going through the first house and you're just being super optimistic and joyful and all of those sorts of things, so maybe the sun is transiting through your first house and you're feeling super like seen and visible, things of that nature. And then same thing with the second house, any transits to the second house, anything in Leo for this person with that, I don't like this Leo glyph is weird, but anyway, anything that happens in Leo. So if there's a new moon in Leo, or if Venus rolls through Leo, or if Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, all of them, all the planets, if it rolls through Leo, it's going to be rolling through this person's second house. And it just carries around. So let me pull up, actually, let me just keep going through and then I'll show you guys transits. But so, yep, this is the fourth whole sign house of Libra, the fifth of Scorpio, the sixth of Sag, and you see this is the moon and Pluto. So this person has a moon-Pluto conjunction, and this is actually relatively important because of the fact that this person has Cancer rising. Cancer is ruled by the moon. All of the 12 signs have a ruler, have a planet that's responsible over them. So you as your rising sign, you have a planet that's responsible over you. And whatever it's doing in your birth chart and whatever it's doing as it's transiting through the sky is going to be important and may kind of speak to where you are feeling like you're showing up, just like as you're traveling through life. Maybe, I'm not too sure about that. I have to kind of think about that for a little bit because I'm thinking about like Mars transits because I have Aries rising. So Mars rules my ascendant, and anything Mars is in Cancer right now. I have been doing a lot at home, and I have been identifying in private with like my privacy, but moving on. Because this person has Cancer rising, we are going to go look for the moon in the birth chart, and the moon is over here in Sag in the 6th house, and it's conjoined Pluto. So That's important within itself. So anytime there's a Sagittarius transit, this person, if like Venus is rolling through Sagittarius, or right now, for example, the South Node is transiting through Sag. So this person is going through, and it's probably getting relatively close right now. This person is going through like a South Node, sixth house South Node transit, essentially, because it's going through their sixth house, and it's going to then impact their moon. And then also impact themselves, because of the fact that this moon rules the ascendant. So anything that happens to the ruler of your ascendant, transiting and within your birth chart, is important. Yeah, it's really important. It's going to bring that energy to you, into your how you're showing up in the world, to your personhood and things of that nature. Okay, moving on to the 7th house of Capricorn. So this person has Mercury in Cap, Venus in Cap, and it looks like it's retrograde. That's what that R is representing. And then also Neptune in Capricorn as well. And their descendant would be over here. I think this little line is supposed to represent the descendant. So the ascendant and the descendant are an axis that represent the horizon. So all of the planets that are above 25 degrees of Cancer and above this like 25 degrees of Capricorn, essentially all of these planets were up in the sky. They were in the heavens when this human was born. And all of these planets down here below are beneath the horizon. They were beneath the earth when this person was born. But yeah, they were born during a Venus retrograde, which is interesting. And yeah, and then they also have their sun in Aquarius in the 8th house with the Uranus conjunction. They have a Uranus sun conjunction. That's the planet Uranus on the 8th. And they also have Jupiter in Aquarius, and they have Mars in Aquarius as well. Now it looks like a Jupiter Mars conjunction as well. This person has a lot of stuff going on here. And this is all in the 8th house. So this person would have an 8th house. This is the 8. This is the 8th house. They have an 8th house sun. They have an 8th house Jupiter, and they have an 8th house Mars, all in the sign of Aquarius. Moving on. So this person then also has a Pisces 9th house. Going back. So the Jupiter Saturn conjunction that we had in Aquarius back in December 21st, 2020, this happened in this person's 8th house. And it was also pretty close to their sun. So maybe some of the things with the Jupiter Saturn conjunction are manifesting or taking place within this 8th house area of your life, that being like debts and taxes and those sorts of things. And maybe it also had to do something with like their sense of identity or purpose, and how that impacts their money and their possessions and the things that they own, and maybe even their personal values, because the sun rules Leo, and Leo is their 2nd house of money. So anything that happens to the sun is also going to impact the 2nd house. Yeah. And Jupiter and Mars over here too, experiencing Saturn. All of these planets are experiencing a Saturn transit right now because Saturn's in Aquarius. And Jupiter was there before, but now Jupiter's in Pisces. And in this person's, actually, this will be for all Cancer risings. And this is why we say that it's important to watch, to like listen, to read, whatever, your horoscopes according to your rising sign, because using whole sign house system, any Pisces transit is going to go through the 9th house for all Cancer risings using whole sign house system. So it's a really nice, simple pow, pow, pow sort of system. Anyway, so this person, this Cancer rising, and any other Cancer risings out there have Jupiter transiting through their 9th house of Pisces. And so, yeah, that's really fun. That's where that Jupiter transit is manifesting for them, having to do with long distance travels and higher learning and education and your meaning of life and those sorts of things. Moving on to the 10th, which is over here. This is the midheaven, the MC, which is the highest point in the sky, the most visible spot in the sky at this person's time of birth. And then this is the glyph of Saturn. So we know that this person has a midheaven Saturn conjunction in Aries. And so Saturn stuff is going to speak to this person's midheaven, this person's public reputation, their public image, and essentially the legacy that they're building for themselves. Saturn is going to have something to say about that. Yeah, and then they also have a Taurus 11th house, and they have a Gemini 12th house. So for example, Uranus is transiting their 11th because it's in Taurus, and then everything that's happening in Gemini right now with Venus being there and Mercury retrograde and the eclipses, it's happening in their 12th house. So let me pull up the transits so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. June 1st, 2021. Here we go. So as I was saying before, remember what I was saying about Mars being in Cancer? That's Mars is in Cancer right here. And this is going through this person's whole sign first house. It's their whole first house. You know what I mean? So it's at the end of the transit, but it went through the entire 30 degrees of their first house and is essentially like at the same degree of their ascendant right now. It looks just about. So maybe today is like a really like, maybe they're working a lot today, or maybe they're just exerting energy, something like that, if they feel like it, because that's Mars in Cancer. Okay. And then let's see what else. So then we can also go up here to, oh, this is that North Node conjunction that I was speaking about. Sorry, I don't like this. So there's the North Node and the Sun in Gemini in this person's whole sign 12th house. And also there's Mercury retrograde and Venus right there transiting through this person's 12th whole sign house. And then we've got everything up here. Saturn rolling through their 8th house. Oh, the moon is in Pisces today. There's a moon Jupiter conjunction today happening in their 9th house. We also see Neptune up here. This is Pluto over here transiting through their 7th house of partnerships. Neptune is up here creating maybe like a fog or maybe some idealism in terms of like what life means to them. Chiron has been transiting through Aries for too long, and it looks like it's making a pretty close conjunction to their midheaven. This is that Uranus and Taurus thing I was talking about. And these planets are going to move. You know what I mean? Like they don't stop moving. The planets never really stop moving. So like Saturn is right now, this little R is retrograde. It's going backwards. So it's still moving. It's still transiting through their 8th house. Some planets move faster than others. So the moon moves really fast, will transit through one sign about every 2 days, whereas Saturn transits through one sign like every 2 years. So it takes Saturn about 2 years to get through one sign, whereas it takes the moon 2 days to get through one sign. So there's variation to the speed of the planets, and that within itself speaks to the experience of those planets generally. Like Saturn transits are long and hard. You know what I mean? That's really annoying. But you know, the moon transits they're emo and they're fluctuating and they're really like bringing messages and like letting you know how to feel about certain things depending on within that area of your life at that time, if that makes any sense. So yeah, this is a birth chart and that's really cool. I talked about the houses. Yep. I talked about the signs and the glyphs around. You have all 12 signs. You have all 12 houses. You may not have planets in some of the houses, and that's totally okay. Like, look at this. This person does not have any 11th house planets. They don't have anything in Taurus. That's okay. Like, they're still experiencing this Uranus transit 125%. Like, well, it is making a square to the sun. It's making a trine to these things over here in Capricorn and other earth signs. So like it still matters. They don't have anything in Pisces in their 9th house, but these 9th house Pisces transits are going to be important. Like they're still going to come up. And even with not even considering the transits, like these what am I saying? You can, if you want to get more insight like on what where these houses are kind of like being discovered, or where the responsibility of that area of your life lies, you identify the sign that this house is. So this house is Taurus. Taurus is you identify the traditional ruler of the sign. Please, for now, like, I like adding the outers as ruler, as like not rulers, as having affinity, but they don't have rulership. They don't have responsibility. Uranus does not have responsibility over Aquarius. Pluto does not have responsibility over Scorpio. And what's the other one? Neptune does not have responsibility over Pisces. They can be similar for sure, but they're not. Domicile is being domicile, being a ruler over a sign isn't just about affinity and being similar. It's about responsibility, and it's about these sorts of techniques that I'm talking about right here. And like just the foundation of like interpreting transits and perfection years and all other techniques really does depend on the traditional rulership scheme. And the outer planets are definitely 125% still very important. So I don't want to like I'm not trying to like down talk that at all. And you can even see in this person's chart, the outers are really important. They have a moon Pluto conjunction. They have a Uranus Sun conjunction. Neptune is hanging out by their descendant. Like, these things are important. But within the context of like finding rulership, traditional rulership scheme, I have something on the rulers? I think. I may be on my cheat sheet. I don't really remember. So sign up for my mailing list and it may be there. I don't really remember. If not, it's like everywhere online. Just type in like traditional rulership scheme, astrology on Google and you'll find it. Anyway, so Taurus is ruled by Venus. We go to find Venus in this person's birth chart. Venus is over here in Capricorn, retrograde in the 7th house. So with this, we can see that this person's like groups and alliances, their colleagues, their hopes and their wishes, and their large groups of peoples who they're like acquainted with, are actually being manifested and like explored within the context of intimate relationships, within the context of like one-on-one partnerships and stuff like that. And maybe they're in the state of like constantly reviewing those values that they share with those partners and how that contributes to like their long-term goals or their long-term things. That was just like I didn't really think much about that, but yes, things like that. So empty houses are okay. They're not that big of a deal. You just go to find the ruler of that empty house. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. I talked about the transits, I talked about the houses, I talked about the signs. This was really fun. I really enjoyed doing this. I want to do more like on the fly, not really that scripted sort of videos, because I really enjoy like just talking to you all about astrology really casually. So I hope that I want to start doing that more because it's fun and I love astrology, and I know you all do too. That's why you're here. So I hope this helped. Please let me know if there's anything else that you guys are curious about that you need like an explanation for. I think I want to do one on annual perfections because I have a really cute project that I think I'm going to be working on surrounded by annual perfections. So I'm really excited about that. And I think I'm going to do an intro video on that at some point. I have a hole in my knee. I just have to point it out because I just have to. These sweatpants were like $8 from Walmart from like over a year ago. So yeah, they're on their last legs. I'm comfy. It's Mars Day. I'm trying to get as much done as I possibly can, being as comfy as I possibly can, because that's the best I can do right now. But yes, okay. Bye everyone. I will be back soon. Like and subscribe, as I said earlier. Turn on the notification bell. Follow me on social media at Deja the Jovian. Okay? Okay. Okay, bye.